run from a 48-year-old man. He ain't running from me, he's coming to fight.
I'm here with Sky's Ed Robinson at the huge weigh-in for the Matchroom card on Saturday night. Ed, how's it going?
Yeah, good atmosphere here. All the fans are upstairs. There was a fan zone probably going on now actually, where some of the fighters get to mingle with the fans. It's kind of media down here basically, but a lot of the fighters are milling around and they've done check weights. Kevin Mitchell looks a little bit drawn, but he's done a check weight to check he's all right for the weigh-in itself. Okay, let's start with the top of the card. We've got Gavin versus Brook.
On social media, it's got a mixed response on social media. How do you see this fight playing out?
I think it's a decent fight. It's the first, I think, in history, all British world welterweight title fight, so it's something a bit historic there. The fact is, Gavin hasn't sparkled in his last 2 or 3 fights, and people are going off that. It's a funny timing for the fight, because they could have easily got him a couple of fights that would have probably stylistically suited him and made him more attractive proposition. So it's kind of an unhyped fight, as it were. You know, like when he beat Denton Vassell, I thought he looked $1 million, Gavin. But that's because it was someone who was stylistically made for him, who came forward and brought out the best in him. But it is a funny time to make the match because he struggled in his last fight a little bit. Just looked a little bit ill-motivated. Bradley Skeet was close, and then there was the loss to Leonard Bundu. Although, you know, Bundu's not bad. Yeah,
Gavin wanted this fight for a long time, especially on social media, asking for the past couple of years. Do you think that has a little feel for the fight where he sees something in Brook that he could capitalise on?
I think he's a naturally confident guy in his own boxing ability, Gavin, and Kel does make 1 or 2 mistakes. You know, he leans back from shots a bit. I thought as impressive as he was against Jojo Dan, he hurt Jojo Dan early and then loaded up on his shots a little bit. But Brook is definitely the big favourite. I think for Frankie the important thing is for him to get into a rhythm early, and once he gets into a rhythm he can be quite a frustrating fighter to box because he's a sharp counter puncher, not a massive hitter, but a sharp counter puncher, and he's constantly repositioning his feet. So he sets Brook with some problems. The thing for Brook though is he's from the Brendan Ingle gym and they're used to every kind of style and a lot of southpaws in gym, and has sparred with Junior Witter so many times. So Brook's definitely got to be the big favourite.
Let's move down to Linares versus Mitchell. Another fight which is kind of 50-50 fight. Both guys can punch, both guys could box, both are very talented, but both are vulnerable, you could say. All the losses have come by stoppage. How do you see this fight playing out?
I don't think it's 50-50. I think Linares is a big favourite, and I really hope Kevin Mitchell can do it. But ultimately, you've got 2 guys who've both been stopped. But the difference is Linares is a 3-weight world champion. You know, so he's lost some fights, a couple of fights that he shouldn't have lost. But that's because we were judging him as like a possible top 3 or 4 pound for pound guy when he was coming through. Whereas Kevin Mitchell's, the big thing for me with Kevin Mitchell is he's underperformed in his 2 biggest fights, against Michael Katsidis and against Ricky Burns. And to win this 3rd attempt at a title, no, it was interim against Katsidis, but he's got to overperform. He's got to be better than he's ever been before. So there's a lot riding on it for Kevin Mitchell, and I just think Linares is the favourite. Yeah. Do
you think it's last chance saloon for Mitchell?
At world level, yeah, but I mean, well, you say that, but then, you know, with Ricky Burns, for example, we were saying last chance, and then Figueroa, and he lost it, but it's still like opens doors for other things. So you wouldn't write him off completely to get another shot, but the lightweight division is so excited in Britain. I think for him to lose and get another shot, it would have to be a case of Derry Matthews winning a full version of the world title, or Terry Flanagan, or Anthony Crolla.
Okay, a domestic Boxtalk.
Yeah.
Let's move down with Selby Gradovich. That's another interesting fight. Totally different styles of fights. Pure boxer, slick, against the aggressive type, brawler type.
Yeah, Gradovich is relentless. He throws so many shots. His manager also looks after Sergei Kovalev and Vasyl Lomachenko, so he doesn't waste his time. He's over here. And Lee Selby, I think he looks so good against Joel Brunker, who's a poor man's version of Gradovich, so you'd think Gradovich should be made for him. But the only thing with Lee is sometimes he loses concentration, and I think sometimes he struggles with the weight. I'm sure he'll have done it perfectly for this, but he'll probably be forced to work for every minute of those 12 rounds. It's tiring, isn't it, moving your feet, and, you know, we'll see. Yeah, and the last one of this one, let's go with Joshua versus Johnson. Yeah. The brash American against our Olympic hopeful, Olympic gold medalist. Yeah, the truth is with Johnson, you've got to go on. He's got a lot of ability, but he always talks a good fight. Yeah. He has failed to deliver in the past, and you want to believe him this time. But basically, he's made a career, particularly post-Vitaly Klitschko of surviving and being a tough guy. And
goes into that show and just doesn't do nothing. He throws, when he throws, it looks really good. It looks really sharp, but only get a small amount of it.
Yeah, but he covers up on the ropes. He tends to throw a jab, almost kind of moving away as he throws it. So I just don't know whether he hits hard enough to keep Joshua from sitting on top of him. I think Joshua's going to come out and try and establish a jab. If he can do that, it's probably easy work for him. If he struggles to land the jab, it gets more interesting. The real question with Joshua is if Joshua really goes for it, blows up a bit and runs out of steam late because he's not used to doing the rounds. But I think the difference between someone like Joshua and someone like Frank Bruno is how relaxed Joshua is in the shoulders, and he can take a little walk, and Johnson's not dangerous, is he, you'd say. If Joshua loses, then he's not the fighter we think he is.
So last question, just last week we had James Degale win his IBF title against Andre Dirrell. How do you think corrections to James Degale, but how do you think that fight played out?
Yeah, I think he did ever so well, James Degale, but I still think he kind of switched off in rounds when he shouldn't have switched off. But it's easy on the outside. You know, I think when he looks back at the tape of it, he'll think, he was more hurt than I thought he was at the time. Maybe I should have gone for it and it would have made the fight a bit easier. But he's 29 years of age, James Degale, but he's still learning. And first time you go through an experience like that, there's a lot of things going on in your mind. And I think he'll be a better fighter for it. And I hope he gets a fight in October against a big name, maybe Bute dropping down, maybe Mikhail Kessler coming out of semi-retirement, maybe Chavez has moved back down to super middleweight, which is still a marketable fight. And I think we just want George Groves to win, don't we? If George Groves beats Badu Jack, then you've got a proper big unification fight next year.
Ed, thank you very much for the Box Talk again.